All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Metro Monday, where we are all about getting results, dispute methods, Metro2 compliance, and getting you guys the right information to take your business to the next level. Um, First thing I want to do is I want to bring up our head of operations, Mr. Rafael Molina. Do I have you on the line, sir?
Yes, sir. Right on time. Had to restart.
Right on time, baby. Right on time. Hey, I just wanted to get, I know a lot of times we have updates coming out. Is there anything, want to give you the opportunity? Is there anything that we want to announce or put out in regards to?
Just really excited about the 6 week drive. Hopefully everybody can hear me. My computer's acting weird right now, but this today is the last day of our 6 week. As you can see it on the screen, we have all the videos on myfreescoretv.com. If you've missed the replays, we've heard a lot of feedback from everybody, positive feedback on the sessions. And so, although this is the last one, we will continue to bring more training for you on it. But that will be coming shortly. You'll see the communications about that. But it's been really great. We're really happy to have had this sessions, these 6 week sessions. And other than that, we're just again looking forward to the next round of new training.
Awesome. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. Well, let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. We do have some big events coming up. We have our Latin edition in Miami, guys. If you haven't RSVP'd for that already, you definitely want to do so. It's going to be in Spanish for those of you guys that are, you know what I mean, bilingual and can come out there, so show some love, show some support. It's going to be a great event. Probably one of the biggest events, if not the biggest event that we've done all year long, and it's going to be hot. It's at the number one resort in Miami. We're going to the Faena Forum, and then we're having some after party stuff exclusive. There's going to be information about funding, information about credit, information about how to scale your business. You're going to hear about the My Free Score Now story and just so much more. You don't want to miss that. Make sure you get to that, and also be on the lookout for our annual gala. This is our second annual gala where we pretty much take care of almost everything for you. It's an exclusive event. It's an invite only event. We're trying to bring our top talent out, celebrate you, celebrate the wins, talk about what the future is, talk about how we're going to change the game in 2026 and be able to help you guys take your business to a whole nother level. So be on the lookout for those events that are coming up. Next slide. All right, we talked about the repays. Let's bring up the man. Let's bring up the myth, the legend, Mr. Brent Bradford. Sir, do I have you on the line?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Sorry, I literally walked in the door 20 minutes ago from traveling back from my parents from the weekend. So I'm just now getting settled. I apologize.
Hey, you're
Um,
good. You're good. Me too. I was just in the car. I went from Arizona over to California, over to Nevada, back to Arizona. So I know
oh,
what you mean.
wow.
Yeah.
I thought my three and a half hour drive was long.
All right. That's right. That's right. All right, sir. Well, I'm gonna
Um,
pass it back to you. Appreciate your
okay.
time and appreciate you jumping on.
I've had so many people reach out over the last couple of weeks. Everybody's loving Gala, by the way. I've had people sending me uh, messages about the results they're getting. I'm seeing more and more people signing up for Gala. So it looks like the word's getting out. People are catching on that, Gala is something to definitely take advantage of. A lot of the questions that I'm getting are kind of repetitive questions. So I want to touch on some of those topics today. Um, I do know that there's a couple of people that are on the call tonight that I've spoken with earlier today. And um, so I want to kind of start from the very beginning, talk about, um, how to get set up with the software, obviously the registration process, talk about creating the client's profile, want to make what you want to make sure that uh, put in terms of the information, how to put in that information, and then how to go about executing your first attack. So that's kind of what I want to cover today. Um, is Rodney, I know you're on the call. Is there anything specific that you want to add uh, to that?
The
That's
unmute.
not. Um, If you can get me back to,
I do have something, Brent. At the end, we do have a survey that we would love for everybody that is attending today's M2 Gala training to fill out. I mean,
So
obviously, we want
I have my audio on mute. I apologize.
it's all good. It's all good. So just Brent, at the end, we do have a survey for everybody, right? So right when we get to the Q&A, I'll put the link out, and if you can let them know to fill that out for us, okay?
okay, absolutely. I'm sorry, did you say something, Rodney?
As I was trying to answer you, but I had my audio on mute. Didn't realize it. But I wasn't saying nothing important. You know me. While you're working, I'm working too. I'm always just typing things out and trying to. So what I'm doing now, while you're doing this, so if I'm delayed responding, it's because I'm typing out. I'm actually typing out some scenarios that people quite often see, and they don't understand how the reaction is. So I'm typing out a scenario with the special comment category, special comment code, special comment description, matches up with portfolio type, matches up with count type, matches up with count status, how all these 6 factors will play in each other, and how any one of them change will make a massive different change on what the possible industry types can be and what the possible negativities types can be. And on top of that, what are more likely possibilities of seeing this? Like, what kind of items will you see these with? Will you see these with Sears? Or will you see these with TGIY? Or will you see this with LBNity? You know, it's good to know these things because they don't, the information itself by itself is useless unless you know how to apply it. It's like if you know you got a baseball bat is great for hitting curveballs, but you don't know that, and you're just taking it back because you heard seen somebody else hit a home run, but they might hit a home run with a curveball, but the guy's only pitching you fastballs, and you're like, you keep missing. You, oh, the bat sucks. Well, no, the bat probably don't suck. You just can't hit a curveball with that bat. Maybe it's a wiffle bat. I don't know. So I'm just trying to set up the arrangements on people, and I don't expect nobody to understand it, but it's good to have it so you can go back and reference it because a lot of times when you don't understand something now, if you have it now that you can go back and fetch it later on, little by little, you'll go back and say, oh, now I understand part A. Oh, now I understand part B. Oh, now I understand part C. So like yesterday, I had a talk with somebody yesterday for almost 2.5 hours on the Epic Pro report. And they're like, well, man, I like IDIQ and this. I said, what, man? Get with me. Let's talk about it. We got on a call. We spent almost 3 hours with each other, 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours, and we discussed nothing but why are these points on the Epic Pro report so important? Why are they there? And why we never see it nowhere else? And why is it important? And how does it matter? And why is it important to use a Metro2 based software that's not using just some kind of general, just fill in the blank thing, as opposed to true AI or LI or whatever? And after that point in time, they were like, man, this makes so much sense. Now I understand everything. And then I sent them the book, the CRG guide, and they wrote me this morning and they gave me like a 5-page assertion of things, and they were 100% correct on everything they read. I was like, wow, this guy really picked it up real quick. So in case and he didn't know anything. He said he's only been in the game about 4 months, so he didn't know anything. So he was able to take a little bit of knowledge that he had no clue what it was, but piece it together little by little. And I'm not expecting nobody to do that every time. But it's how many times you said something, man, this is really hard. This is really hard. But then you put it aside, and later on you go back to, man, that wasn't hard at all. Like when you're playing a video game, and somebody else is doing a trick with the controllers that you're like, I can never do that. I can never do it that fast. I would never make that move. And then all of a sudden you're doing that, and people looking at you like, wow, you're a great player. And all you did was just do the same thing because of repetitiveness, right? Yeah, like whoever said, like talking to a woman. That's right. Except a lot of women in my life are smarter than I am, so they got to talk down to me to make me understand it. So anyway, I'm gonna be quiet a little bit while I listen to you here and there. If you need me, just say, "Hey, Rodney," just say like that, and I'll wake up to you. But in the meanwhile, I'll be typing out because that's what I do. I fill in the comment section with information.
Okay. I just want to, like I said, I want to cover some of the, from start to finish, setting up a profile, to generating your first attack, what you want to make sure that you do before you start to generate another attack, because I've gotten quite a few questions on that as well. If you can give me the ability to share.
We have had an uptick. We've had about another 300 users added into M2 Gala, they're not buying, but they're actually registering. So we have almost 300 extra registered in the last, I guess, 72 hours. So there's been an uptick of something, but they're not buying, but they're there. So visual is everything, right?
Absolutely.
Brent, you're officially the host, so you
Okay.
can do what
All
you
right, I'm
please.
gonna leave you alone now.
Okay. So, assuming that everyone has already figured out how to register for Gala, in the event that you haven't, to register, you're going to go to www.m2gala, that's 1l.com. You will click the registration tab, first name, last name, your affiliate email if you have one, phone number. Then you would create a username and create a password, and then you're going to register. I'm already registered. So then you're going to log in. So when it's time to create a profile for a client, you're going to want to click on the client list tab, and then you're going to want to click on the right-hand side where it says add new client. And then I like to click the eyeball next to the show hidden field so that I can see what I'm typing. You're going to first and foremost enter the client's username and password for My Free Score Now so that you can upload their Epic Pro report. Next, you're going to input their first and last name. If the last name is hyphenated, so if it's Sarah Smith Jones, you can put Smith and Jones in the last name box, but you want to ensure that you include the hyphen. Okay. Same as if you're entering, if you want to include an individual's middle name, you would put their first name, you could put middle and last name, but you don't put the hyphen, you leave that, just include a space between the two. Make sure that you enter the client's birth date. So that's going to be month, day, year. So we'll just say January 1st, let's just say 72. Make sure that you enter the last four of the social. You can enter the entire social if you like, but you only have to enter the last four. If you do decide that you want to enter the entire social, do not include any spaces or hyphens. Just put in the entire social. Phone number is optional. You do not have to put in a phone number, but you definitely can include a phone number if you like. For the street address, this is important. When you're putting in the street address, you want to make sure that you do not abbreviate anything. So if they live at 123 North Street, you want to spell out the word North, and you want to type in the word street, or spell out the word street. If it's lane, avenue, circle, whatever it is, you want to spell everything out. If it happened to be, let's say, Northwest Street or North Street, you want to spell out Northwest. So you want to spell everything out. You do not want to abbreviate anything. If there is an apartment number, don't put, comma, apartment, and then the apartment number. Don't put unit, what have you. Just put in the apartment number. For the city, you're going to put in the city. You're going to select the state from the drop down. You're going to enter the zip code for their address.
Hey, Brent, just real quick, if they want to do this in Spanish, they just got to toggle the little button up on the upper left, right? From EN to SP.
Let me look here.
Does that change it all into Spanish for those that are
I'm trying to see.
getting questions?
I didn't know if we right here.
Right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Correct.
It does, and you can also switch to other languages as well, not just Spanish. But yeah.
Okay, nice.
But it definitely does. Do Spanish.
Damn, but it erased everything you just did. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay. Enter the client's email address, and right here where it says client portal username, client portal password, by default, Gala will create a username and password for you. However, you do have the ability to change those if you desire.
And let me ask a question, Brent. Hey, Brent, let me ask you a question. What do you think about this? What would you think it'd be a good idea if I have like transparently have some like fake information in there so people can see a sample of it? Would that be
You
an
talking
idea? Have
about
a like in these fields, have them like not filled out per se, but have like a transparent background so they can see what it looks like, what a normal file would look like.
you
Like
talking
I would
about for
have
like first
like
name?
yeah,
You talk about for all the person
right, exactly. And
kind of
then
like
like if you had like you I do like John Smith, I would have like behind it, where each field is already like very lightly behind. You know how you can barely see it, but it's like it's
no,
there, and
it's almost transparent. I
right,
mean that's
right. And then I would have like certain characters bolded or italicized to emphasize the importance of having that character that way. Like in John, I would like bold and italicize, maybe underline or different color or whatever it is, the J, and what may have you.
okay. I mean that's definitely something to think about. Absolutely. Um,
Okay.
get feedback from Bruce as well on that. I did want to point out when you're typing in the first and last name, I know that it's very common or popular for someone to copy and paste from the credit report into the personal information. That's something that you want to avoid. The reason being, on the credit report, the first and last name is going to be all capitalized. That's something that you want to avoid when creating the profile. You want to type just the first letter capital, everything else lowercase. Same with the last name, first letter capital, last name, or the rest of it lowercase. Um, just I know these seem like kind of small details, but they actually are important details to make sure that you do correctly. Again, the client username and client uh, or the portal username and portal password are pre-generated by Gala. But you do have the ability, if you want, you can change the portal username and password for your client. You're going to want to upload identification documents. For the identification documents, you want to make sure that you're uploading an image. You don't want to upload a PDF. I see it quite a bit. People will upload a PDF of a utility bill, for example, and when you actually generate the attack, the software does not translate that PDF as an image on the letters. So your letters will actually be missing your proof of address.
Well,
Just simply,
there's no technology to put a PDF in a PDF. That's why.
yeah. Um, just simply take a screenshot of the PDF. And then I always recommend that people crop and size the documents. That's just, I'm very OCD when it comes to stuff like this. So I want I want the identification documents to all be the same size. I want them to be large. I don't want anything in the background. I just want what I want to be put on the letters in terms of the documents. I personally make proof of address 1,000 pixels wide, and the driver's license and the social I make 700 pixels wide. But just make sure that the image is going to be large enough to where it's legible, but not too large where it takes up too much space. So after you upload your identification documents, you're going to click add profile, or you can go to here to the top, click submit. Gala's going to save the profile and upload the Epic Pro report. Once the profile has been saved and the Epic Pro report's been created, I'll click here. You can click here. And this is a fictitious customer that I created. And you're going to have your identification documents uploaded. You're going to have your credit reports been uploaded. And then you're going to have all of your clients' personal information saved in the profile. Now you're ready to generate your attack. So in order to generate your attack, you're going to click attack area. And the software is going to pull up the first individual. So let me go to a different one. Okay, so the software is going to go ahead and get you set up to generate an attack for this client. This client happens to be John Doe, a fictitious customer. If I click expand, it's going to show you the date of the last report that was uploaded. If I come down and I click additional information, it's going to show me that I am generating my 4th round for this client. Scroll down a little bit more. It's going to show me all the destinations that we're generating letters for. So as you can see, I've got Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, Innovis, LexisNexis. There are some additional secondary bureaus. You are perfectly, you're allowed to add additional secondaries if you like. I personally do add the additional 4 secondaries just because my thinking, it won't hurt. It could help, so I add them, but by default, Innovis and LexisNexis are the only secondaries that are included. You are going to generate letters for creditors and debt buyers. You have the ability to deselect that if you do not want to generate those letters. And then you'll notice that by default 3B, this means that we are attacking all derogatory items with all 3 credit reporting agencies, not just an agency that it may be reporting with. For example, if you've got a collection that's reporting with Experian and Equifax, but not TransUnion, by having 3B selected, we're actually going to be attacking that collection with all 3 credit reporting agencies, not just the 2 that it's reporting with. But if that's not something that you want to do, you do have the ability to switch to 1B.
DM Consulting, can you DM Consulting, please mute. Can you mute her?
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, so for attack type format, I've had a number of calls on this week. So by default, it is set at current most statistically optimal. So to explain what this means, the LI within Gala is doing an evaluation. Ooh, I'm getting some feedback. Evaluation of what is most effective in terms of getting results from previous attacks.
Sandy, please
mute their mic. I'm sorry?
Sandy needs to mute.
Oh, that's not me talking.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Now I'm not getting feedback anymore. Okay. So the software's doing, or the LI's doing an evaluation of results from previous attacks over the previous 15 days. And the software is learning as it's collecting this data of what's been shown to be most effective with getting deletions for the various type of derogatories with the various credit reporting agencies. So when we have the CMSO selected, we are giving Gala the permission to select the most, statistically optimal attack based on what's on that credit report. So Gala's going to evaluate the credit report. Gala's going to say, okay, based on what I'm seeing, we want to utilize, and I'm going to say, for example, lava for these derogatory items, and we want to utilize fire for these other derogatory items. So when you generate your attack, it's very possible that you could have different letters that are different attacks. It's based on the logics and the statistical data that the LI has collected from its evaluations up to this point. And the logics is actually updating, I believe it's 8 times a day. So you could generate an attack today for John Smith utilizing the credit report that was refreshed on October 1st today, and then come back a week from now and generate the same attack for John Smith utilizing the exact same credit report, and the letters could be different because the logics have updated, the logics have changed. So the LI, which is learned intelligence, is making the decision for us on the most statistically optimal attack to utilize based on what's on that credit report. And like I said, it could change from one day to the next. If you have a desire, for whatever reason that may be, that you don't want to go with what Gala suggests, you just want to use a lava attack, you have that ability. But I personally allow Gala to select the attack for me. And I've seen it. I've generated attacks, and I've seen that for these 3 letters, it's using lava, and for these 3 letters, it's using the EPA mix, for example. Scroll down a little bit further, and you can generate your attack. Again, you have the ability to change these if you like. I did want to point out for right here. So one of the things that Gala is going to do is if you have accounts that have 1 to 2 late payments, Gala is going to separate those accounts from everything else, and it's going to create letters that are specifically for accounts that have 1 to 2 late payments. So if you generate an attack, you could have 2 letters for Experian. You could have 2 letters for Equifax, 2 letters for TransUnion, because it's putting the accounts with 1 to 2 late payments on one letter, and then the other letter for the same credit reporting agencies going to have everything else that's derogatory. You have, by default, it's set up to where it separates. If for whatever reason you don't want them separated, you want them combined, you have the ability to select that. But again, I recommend that you leave it based on the defaults, because Gala does what it does based on statistical data, based on the logics that it's collecting. So the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to generate my letters. Takes 15, 20 seconds to generate the attack, after which you can download the zip file. The zip file, based on what's on the credit report, that's going to determine how many letters you have. So then I would click download. It's going to download the zip folder, and then I would hit close. And then you can go to the attack area again, and it's going to show you all of the attacks you've done. I'm sorry, the attack history. And so it'll show that we just generated this attack for John Doe. If I click John Doe's name, it shows you all the attacks that I've done for him. It shows you the date that those attacks were generated. It shows here the number of files. So you could see that I created 12 letters. That's the number of files. And it shows that there's 15 derogatory items that were attacked. Now, when it's time to do the next round for your clients, you have 1 of 2 options. It is recommended, based on the logics that the LI is collecting, to do the first 5 rounds 15 days apart from one another. So you would do round 1 on day 1, round 2 on day 16, round 3 on day 30, all the way up to the 5th round, which encompasses the first 60 days. After which you want to switch to a 30-day gap between your rounds. However, if you do not want to do the attacks every 15 days, you don't have to. You could definitely do your attacks 30 days apart. If you're doing the 15-day rotation, you can do round 1 and round 2 utilizing the same credit report. You would then have to upload a refreshed report so that you could do round 3 and round 4. Then you would have to upload a fresh credit report so that you could do round 5. If you're doing a 30-day rotation, you're going to have to upload a refreshed credit report before you can generate that next attack. In order to update the credit report, you first need to log into the client's MyFreeScoreNow account and refresh the credit report. By uploading the credit report into Gala, it's not automatically refreshing the report. So it's actually a 2-step process. Step 1 is to log in to the actual credit report and refresh it. Step 2 is to log into Gala and upload that refreshed report. In order to do that, you would click Client List, and we'll just use Susie as an example. To the far right-hand side of Susie's name, you're going to see the button for Import Report. I would click that. Obviously, she's a made-up client, so I don't have credentials. So let me go to John Doe and so John Doe, I would click this, and then after I've logged into MyFreeScoreNow and I've done that refresh, I would then click the the icon in the center, and it's going to upload the refresh credit report. Now I can go to the attack area and I can generate my next round. But it's very important that you upload that refreshed report before you try to generate that next attack if you're doing a 30-day rotation. So go back to home. And again, you have the ability at any time, you can go to the attack history. You can type in a name for whichever client you're wanting to evaluate. So I could type in John. I click on John's name and it shows me his history. And I can download any of his attacks at any time, because I have that history. You do have the option to utilize the printing and mailing service. So when you are generating your attack, right here, it'll say mailing decision. You have the ability to print and mail them yourself, or you could utilize the printing and mailing service. You would fill out the information, you would click continue, and when you generate the attack, a copy of your letters are sent to the printing and mailing service provider. They in turn will send you a invoice. Once the invoice has been paid, your letters are printed and mailed for you. If you utilize the printing and mailing service, when you go to attack history, you'll actually be able to see to the right of their name. See if I can find one that I've done as an example. Right here, you'll see where it's got the status. So once an invoice has been sent to you, it'll be updated and read processing. Once the invoice has been paid and the letters have been printed and mailed, it'll be updated to printed and mailed. So you have that ability to watch the progress of your order being printed and mailed if you choose to utilize that service. I know I kind of covered a lot of information without really taking any questions. Does anyone have any questions on any part of the process of creating a profile and generating that first attack?
Got a brand new transmission and we never saw the repair bill.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I thought that they would, CROs make a big deal out of you sending letters. Let's say you live in Florida and it's sent out of Texas. Then you get a Dunning letter. Is that just a coincidence? Or
you get a Dunning letter or like a stall letter?
Yeah, that's what I meant, like a store letter.
Okay.
Like I'm just saying, like if it's not sent out from wherever you live.
I really don't experience it that much.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I print mail.
Brent.
Go ahead, Rodney.
There's actually been court actions in that where the consumer has sued them because the consumer might be on vacation, or they might have children that live in another state, so they go visit them or whatever. So that is not uncommon. The bureaus are not allowed legally and compliantly. Now, they don't mean they won't. They're not allowed to use the reference of where the letter comes from, supposedly, to make those decisions, because it could be from a relative's place or a second home, or maybe you live in a different state than you actually work in. Like when I first moved to Pensacola, I actually was still working at my office in Mobile, Alabama, so I drove every day like 2 hours. That happens a lot. There's some people that live in Central Florida that actually have their job up in southern or very southeastern of Georgia, and vice versa. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in New Jersey and New York City that go back and forth, so they cannot use that particular thing only as a guidance of why they neglected you. Now, if they have other reasons and that's also an additional, that's a different story. Which is what they're always going to try to claim. But I assure you, you're not getting flagged solely because of where the letter's coming from.
I can tell you this. I know this firsthand.
I agree, but I heard other.
Yeah, there's. I can tell you firsthand. I've got clients that have gotten stall letters, and then when I do their update, they got deletions. So even though a stall letter is being sent out, The CRAs are still conducting that investigation. They may take a little bit longer to conduct the investigation, but they're still conducting the investigation.
Yeah.
In fact, Rodney's he's spoken about this quite a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ever since I've ever tested it, around 35%. That's a little bit more than 1 in 3 times you send letters out. And this is don't matter what system you're using. It has because a lot of times they won't even open a letter yet, so it ain't the letter. About 35%. That's a little bit more than 1 in 3. About 3 and 5, 3 or 4 people out of 10 will actually have their letters returned to them, not ever being opened. That happens all the time, and it has nothing to do with you most of the time. If they don't open a letter, it has nothing to do with the letter at all. So all you can do is just keep your process, keep going forward. The only way you're going to lose for sure is if you don't continue going forward. That's a
That's true.
guarantee.
It's a game of attrition, actually. I mean, if you kind of think
Absolutely.
about it, it's
Absolutely.
who's gonna give up first. One of several things is going to happen. You're going to give up and quit sending in disputes. The creditor's going to give up and quit certifying, or the bureaus are going to give up and quit wanting to investigate and just start deleting data off the credit report. It's who's going to outlast the other.
And that's what I thought it was, but people always want to. Maybe it's because you mailed it from a different
But, but also this, be very careful who you listen to. I mean, everybody sounds professional. Anybody can go out there and put a great. In fact, me and the team just talked about that not even an hour ago. You can put a great ad out there and make it look like you know everything, but you don't really know anything, because when you break down what they're saying, there is nothing validated behind the scenes.
I actually saw a post today where somebody was saying on Facebook to never file bankruptcy, to just do a credit sweep instead. People say all kinds of crazy stuff. Doesn't mean it's true.
You'll recover from a bankruptcy a lot faster than you will a credit sweep that got messed up.
Yeah. I wanted to mention one thing. You talked about being able to switch over to the Spanish language. I know that it's something that's being worked on. Any idea on when it's going to be available to where you can actually view the letters in Spanish? Now, obviously, you can't print and mail those letters. They have to be printed and mailed in English. But for those that want to be able to see what the letters look like in Spanish,
you wasn't supposed to say something about that, but that feature's already been ready. We just gonna launch it at if they got M2 at the event and on 25th.
Oh,
so
never mind.
The feature's been done.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
But like Brent said, you don't want to. Somebody mentioned in the chat also, you don't want to send them all because it will change the verbiage. Because what a word in English may or may not be the same word in Spanish, and the word in English might only have 1 or 2 meanings, but in Spanish might have 5 or 6, or vice versa. There might be only 1 or 2 meanings in Spanish, but 10 or 12 meanings inside English. Like, for example, the word dispute. The word dispute, argument, challenge, contest, all these are synonyms in the English language, but on a level of credit repair, they're actually legally different things. Whereas in Spanish, the translation may just say dispute, argument, or whatever, and just be a general one word, and that's it. And it may not apply the same way. And remember, we're trying to build up leverages, and we're trying to do it in a certain way in a language they understand. So yeah, you don't want to convert it and then send it off. You can convert it to read it so you have a general understanding of what's going on or in a letter. It's like trying to substitute the ingredients in Mama's pie. Well, you know what? This sugar is almost as good as it's nearly the same. It ain't the same brand, but it's granulated same sugar. But Mama said use that one, but I'm gonna use this one because it's cheaper. Mama said use these kind of apples, but I'm gonna use these apples from Washington State instead. Mama said use Georgia peaches, but I'm gonna use South Carolina peaches. It may be a small difference, but it might make a major difference. Who knows? Mama says use a crock pot, but I'm gonna use a frying pan.
Looking at some of the questions, somebody was asking about if you give up, when's it best to restart? One thing that you want to always keep in mind, if you exceed 45 days between the time that you sent your last round and you're going to be sending the next round, it's recommended to start over. So if I've sent round 2 and then it's been 50 days since I sent round 2, instead of sending round 3, I'm going to go back to the beginning and I'm going to start over at round 1. That's been what I've done for the, I've always been told that, and I've always done that, since I started using Metro2 10 years ago.
And that's because the leverage being built up.
Correct.
Hello. Hello, this is Shaveria with Credit Hero. I just have a question because I have been using your software and it has been excellent for my customers. I've been seeing it come out. I did the, do it myself and do the maximum dispute. I have one client, a husband and wife duo. On the husband's credit report, the Chrysler charge-off came off easily. With hers, it is not moving, and we've already in the 4th dispute. Is there anything else, any suggestions you can give me? Because they're already in contract to get a home right now. And it's the only thing that's holding them back.
Patience is pertinent. That's all I'm saying.
I do have a question. I'm having problems trying to get that. They have a bankruptcy on there, and look like I'm having trouble trying to get it off. I got everything else off except the bankruptcy.
Let me ask you this. Are you including the secondaries?
Okay, I checked my junk.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So bankruptcies are reported to Experian Equifax TransUnion by secondary bureaus. They're not reported by the courts. So when I'm dealing with the client that has a bankruptcy, I ensure that I'm including all of the secondaries as well as the court, because I want, my goal is to have the court send a letter to my client stating that they do not report bankruptcies to the credit reporting agency, so that I can include a copy of that letter with my attack that I mail in. Rodney knows a lot more when it comes to, kind of laws and the reasoning. Anything that you can think of, Rodney, that she could try to kind of get that bankruptcy to budge?
Yeah, first of all, how many days have you been attacking? What round you on? What day line? Because if you haven't hit that 128 timeline yet, you're probably evaluating too early.
How many rounds have you done?
3 so far.
Okay, so it's premature.
Okay. Well, thank you. I didn't.
I haven't received any.
Make sure that you're including the secondaries and the courts. So if I go to attack area and I do the expand,
like when you try to open up,
I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Please mute your phones.
I haven't tried to open it up.
Okay, if you scroll down, these two items here.
Can you mute your phone, people? Be respectful.
Yeah, I include these 2 items for bankruptcies. By default, they're not included, but I include those for bankruptcies as well as the additional 4 secondaries.
I have a question for you, ma'am. Is there a reason why you didn't include the secondary bureaus? Was that like a purpose? Like, did you have a, not because, just wondering, right? Like, because other people may be thinking the same thing.
Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You were asking about the bankruptcy.
Yes, sir.
And then they asked if you have sent it to the secondary bureaus. But you said no. Just wondering why. Why not?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood because I couldn't hear too good. No, I did send it to Lexus, to Novell, and the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess just keep going, right? Go to the next round.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I know it sounds simple, but keep attacking.
Now, keep in mind, the courts have no requirement to be Bob compliant, although they are typically the most compliant. It's crazy. They have no requirement to be compliant, yet they are compliant usually.
What is it? The U.S. government and courts are the only entities that aren't required to be compliant?
Any government agency has no requirement to be compliant. None. They have zero. Now that's kind of odd because they are usually the ones that are compliant. The problem is once they're not compliant, trying to get them to change is hard. You know, like let's say for example, there's a listing of $500, but the court made a mistake and the secretary typed in $500 instead of $50. The problem is they reported a court order. The court secretary she pours it into Pacer, and the data furnisher or the data provider will supply the information from Pacer to the main credit bureaus. The main credit bureaus, when they're doing an investigation, will simply have them go check their source, and their source is Pacer. So they never actually talk to the court itself. They go to Pacer and they call that the information. And Pacer, by definition, according to the way things go, by definition, anything in Pacer is considered factual information, even if it's wrong. So even if something is written 3 + 3 is 7 in Pacer, even though you and I both know that's wrong, if it's in this Pacer as 3 + 3 is 7, that's what it's going to be by, and that's what the court's going to uphold. And the problem is with court records or court items is if you get a problem with them, trying to convince a court to change a court action is very tough because they don't want to, because you have to go to a court to change a court. That'd be like me going to you complaining about the shirt you're wearing. You can't dispute
Pacer, can you? From what I've been told, you cannot.
No, you can't even access it the way they do. There's a different data furnishers have a different access to Pacer than what you do. Now, what you can do, excuse me, hold on. My girlfriend brought me some ribs here, and I'm eating them up, and they're so good.
I don't understand why you didn't answer the question that the other lady had, and you just moved on to this question, because a lot of us have that question. Like, why isn't this charge off coming off, and what do we do? We've been using this service.
One thing you have to understand is all three credit reporting agencies are separate entities. What one CRA does, the other one doesn't necessarily have to do. Meaning, if I get it deleted from Experian, that doesn't mean Equifax has to delete it. You could have one of them delete it just because they don't want to investigate it. Or they're like, this individual's disputed this particular item 3 times, let's just go ahead and delete it. Whereas the other CRAs may be getting the information that they're requesting from the creditor. Therefore, they're not going to delete it. I mean, I've had clients that I've done 6 rounds on, 7 rounds on before something came off. I've had clients where I've gotten a bankruptcy, for example, deleted from 2 of the 3, but no matter what I did, I couldn't get it deleted from the 3rd. Sometimes, I mean, yes.
Can I
Thank you. Thank you for that.
To clarify, when you expand the primary negative types, you know that they appear like the 3 words pre, CODC, DGRL, DLQL. And
you talk about the creditor.
When you expand the primary negative types.
So let me go to attack area. So
you just hover over it to tell you what it is.
Yeah, but I didn't. I need clarification.
Yeah, there's a box that if you actually hover over the actual item, a box will pop up that's going to have those definitions.
Where are the definitions?
So like right here, for example, if I put my cursor right here where it says HIDC, that box pops up and it shows, it describes what that is. So that would be bad inquiry, AKA hard inquiry, or derogatory concern. If I put my cursor here, it's saying that this is hard inquiry linked to a positive or neutral item.
Good. And so, is that the same for the first part? I guess that's like delinquency, like the last one must be delinquency.
So my understanding, these definitions in terms of bad, good, best, that is a My Free Score Now definition. Bad inquiry obviously is an inquiry, a hard inquiry attached to a derogatory account. Good inquiry would be an inquiry that's not necessarily attached to a derogatory account. So it's unchallenged positive or neutral items. And then obviously best, it's not attached to anything negative whatsoever.
Right, and it's likely linked to the credit approval.
You won't dispute those, right? But then
by default, the HIAAs are not selected.
Yes.
By default, it's just the first two.
Yes. Right. And then you have PII as personal identifiers, and then
yes.
What is the other one? Other unknown general
or
anything don't fit in those other categories, such as fraud, identity theft, authorized users, terminated accounts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So anything don't fit in the categories above it, it would be fit into the other category.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got public records, charge-off collections. So there's two types of late payments. There's derogatory and delinquency. Delinquency are going to be accounts that have 1 to 2 late payments. Derogatory are accounts that have 3+ late payments.
And let me add something real fast, Brent. On the PRE where it says public record items, that is only items that are actually in the public records area of the credit report. You can have an item that's linked to a court that's not under public records. Let's say you have an item that is a collection, it's listed under the collection area of the Edmond report. It's under a collection, but you look at it and you see it's a court item. It's not.
So you're talking like an account that's been discharged under a bankruptcy.
Right. So here's the criteria. If it's going to be a PRE, it has to be under the category of public records inside the report. If it's not under the category inside the report, but yet it's linked to a bank item or a court item, it will be considered the account in bankruptcy, AIB.
Right. Yeah. So like if you have a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, all the accounts that were discharged under that bankruptcy will have notations with that debt on the credit report that this was part of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. But it's not right. That particular account's not considered a public record.
Even if it was discharged, dismissed, pending, all that stuff, any of that stuff, that's right, absolutely. If there's any notation on an item that's not in the public records, if there's any indication of a public record action inside the account information, that is considered AIB or account in bankruptcy, even if it's not an account in bankruptcy. It just means it's a public record listed item that's not under public records. They get attacked different ways. A public record will always need the CII and the ECOA codes to be certain things. Whereas if you're not under public record category, those CII and ECOK codes can be different values. Public records has a very specific format it has to be, and it cannot alter from. Whereas if a creditor does not have it listed under a public record, they can list it with other categories. That's why a lot of things slip through. That's why a lot of software you go to, they will never get a public record off because they're not attacking it the right way. In fact, they're just attacking it based on if the different rules report the same way or not, which is very the wrong way to do it. Because you can actually have 3 different ways reporting, and they all be exactly correct and compliant, all based on when that reporter purported information to different CRAs.
Can you separate like delinquencies only?
A delinquency late is considered when you have only 1 or 2 late payments. None occurred within the last 90 days. You don't have a current past due balance. You do not have more than 2 late payments in the last 2 years' time. The collective days late does not add to greater than 90 days. And that's pretty much it. If it's 3 or more late payments, or if you had any late payment in the last 90 days, or there's a current past due balance, it will be called a derogatory late.
So when you hit separate, that is check, they're separate, like you separate, what you are separating, these different categories separate?
Correct. We want to separate derogatory lates away from delinquency lates because delinquency late, we're not asking for the removal of the item. We're asking removal of the information, but retaining the item. Whereas a derogatory late, we're asking for the removal of the item itself.
Oh, okay. And when you hit combine, all these things are together in only one letter, right?
Well, Not necessarily, but it gives the software the ability to do that. So when you combine them, you're telling the software, "Hey, you're okay, Gayla. You're okay if you want to combine them how you want to." Gayla may decide, "Hey, this time we're going to combine the public record with inquiries, but next time it's going to be public record with charge offs. Next time we say that we do everything all together, and then next time it might say, you know what, everything individually." It all depends on what stats coming back tells us. So what happens today may or may not be the same thing tomorrow, and may or may not be the same thing next week or next month. So that's a very, very good question, but a very hard one to answer. We never know. It's like when you spin a bottle. You don't never know which way it's gonna point. All you know is it's gonna point somewhere. That's all you know. It's gonna point somewhere, but you don't know where.
Thank you. Thank you, Brent.
All right, so we've hit the hour mark. We'll take a. Are there any other, let's see, pending things you wanted to talk about, Brent? Should I charge more for a bankruptcy? That, I mean, again, guys, that's all up to your own business, right? This is a tool that will allow you to create letters. I think a value a differentiator is that you're not only sending them to the primary bureaus, but you're also sending them to the secondary bureaus. So that, you know, how you do that, that's up to you. We're not, we don't give it advice about what to charge or how to operate your business. We're just really helping you guys understand how you can leverage the power of the Epic Pro report with the power of M2 Gala, leveraging the learning intelligence, the SI, all of that to become more efficient and to be able to do more attacks more efficiently and get real good results faster, right? So we'll leave that one to you guys there. But one of the reoccurring themes I'm hearing from the questions today, you have to just keep going through the rounds, right? The LI is learning, okay, that approach, if that approach didn't work in that particular moment, then it knows statistically that this next round, it's going to address it differently, right? So you really have to let the learning intelligence do its thing. You got to push the button. You got to make sure that you're updating your Epic Pro every 30 days. From My Free Score Now, you got to make sure you stay consistent. Now, I think, in the future sessions, we'll talk about, having all your attacks on one letter versus separating them into separate letters. But as you know, that's more postage, that's more print, that's more work, right? But you also have those options, right? And I think that as you guys begin to become more advanced or maybe thinking about those things, then you may change your approach in how you do it. But the way that we've set it up for you guys as a default is to be more efficient in the printing sense, right? You've got everything in one letter and you mail them out to each bureau independently. But if you wanted to send them out, one trade line at a time by bureau, and that's 9 bureaus and that's one trade line, that's, correct me, that could be 9 letters just for one thing. You have those options. And then if you have 10 trade lines and you want to send them out individually, that's 90 letters, right? So, some people are like, "No, I'm not doing that," right? And fair, right? You could still do it in one letter. So all I'm saying is that there's so many options that Gala offers. And, as we say, try different things, but we will encourage you guys to continue to push that button and go round for round, right? It's a dance. So you've got to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I had, this is just an example, but years ago, I had a client and his credit was the worst I've ever seen. And his goal was to buy a house. And when I tell you this guy had 35 different charge-offs, probably 2 dozen collections, probably 20, 25 accounts that had late payments. It took 12 months, but I got him in a house. I mean, so nothing's impossible, but it's going to take time. I tell all of my clients that when it comes to credit repair, there's 4 things that it's going to require 4 things from you: persistence, patience, time, and then being consistent. Consistency, patience, persistence, and time. You want to be consistent with what you do. If you decide that I'm going to send my attacks every 30 days, do it every 30 days. Don't do round 1 and then round 2 30 days later, and then round 3 45 days after you did round 2, and then back to 30 days. Be consistent with what you do. consistency breeds success.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I've been utilizing Metro2 for 10 years. I can't even begin to tell you how many thousands of attacks that I've done over the years. And I wouldn't even want to begin to tell you how many attacks Rodney's done over the years. And the key is consistency. If you decide that you're going to do, round 1 on day 1 and round 2 on day 16, stick with that until it's time to do 30 days. Don't do round 1 at day 1, round 2 at 16, and then jump to 30 days. Be consistent with what you do. And I have found I'm consistent with what I do for every client, and I'm consistent with what I do with all my clients. What I do for one client, I do for the other. It just makes things easier. I have a schedule. I stick to my schedule, and I don't deviate. So consistency is key. Someone just asked a question about if you're going to utilize the printing and mailing service. When you get that pop-up, you're going to want to input the information of who you want that invoice sent to. If you want the invoice sent to you, you're going to put your name, your phone number, your email address. If you want the invoice sent to your client, you're going to input their name, their email address, and their phone number. Most people request that the invoice is sent to them, but I do have some people that want the invoice sent to their client. Whichever you do is entirely up to you, and how you've set up your pricing for your service.
Hey, Brent.
Yes, sir.
The Credit Heroes lady. What's your name, sweetie?
Credit Heroes.
Yeah, she was speaking a little earlier.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't see her on the list.
Maybe she came in and left.
Maybe.
Name, right. Hey, well, guys,
rings the bell to me.
Rafa, we do have a survey.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
yes.
the survey.
So let's so a couple of things, right? Before we get to the survey, we really want to give a big, huge thank you to Mr. Rodney Peak and Brent Bradford for making themselves available, every week at the same time, taking all your questions, taking questions outside of the sessions, one-on-ones. I mean, I'm hearing it from everybody. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, if you guys, when we talk about industry leaders and experts, I mean, these guys are the ones, right? And they're just the most humble people that I've known and met, and to just be available this way is really significant. Brent's doing stuff all day. Rodney's doing stuff all day. They really carve out time to do this, for you guys. So big thank you to you guys for doing that. I know the community has been blessed by it. I've learned so much by it, and we're going to continue to share that stuff with you. So it's been an amazing 6-week run. Like I said, it doesn't mean you're not going to see them anymore, but we're very intentful about things that we do. 6 weeks run, and then something else will come after that, right? With intent. So just stay tuned, and you guys know how we do. We're always thinking about how we can help you guys scale your business. We're more than just a credit monitoring company, right? You can get your reports and get your monitoring for your customers, but we're always thinking about how we can help you guys grow your business, because if you guys grow, you help us grow, right? So that, I mean, it's very simple. I mean, it's simple, right? So again, I thank you guys. It's been 6 weeks. We'll give you some more information about what's to come next. We do have a survey. Arlie, do you want to, what I don't know the instructions for the survey, but please, if you can help us out, it would be very helpful if you filled out this survey, because then we know what else we can do, right? So
yeah, so we just have 3 simple questions. I'm gonna add a link to the chat. You guys can just click on the link. It's gonna take you to our forum, and then just fill it out. Be honest. It's anonymous, right? It's anonymous, so we won't know who filled it out. But this is the way we can learn, we can grow, and then put together these training sessions for you guys. Okay, so I already put it on the link. You're gonna see it under My Free Score Now Executive. It's a Google form, so just go ahead and click on that. I put the 3 questions up on our shared screen, so you can kind of brief. But please fill it out.
Please, once you click it, put a 1 on the chat, and I want to see 49 ones. That means everybody clicked it. But it's so helpful, right? It's helpful for us. It's helpful to you, right? It's so that we can make sure that we got what you guys that we can provide what you need, right? So it's I don't like begging, but I'm begging for this one.
You beg.
So yeah,
I put the link again because I saw a bunch of ones, so you guys
oh
don't have
yeah,
to
yeah.
scroll up. So I'm adding the link again, and if you guys are able to open it, keep adding one so I know that it's working. Thank you.
We're just gonna give some time for people to do it.
Hey, while everybody's Paul's doing that, I asked a question earlier and nobody responded to it. When I post all these things in the chat, are they of value to people or are they just wasting time? I don't want to like flood people out and blow their mind away and they're not being saved or used. Are these things that you guys are actually reading and using, and are you just or is it just space waster and you know? 'Cause I don't want to put too much there and not be a need for it, and then I override a question that might be out there pertinent.
Can't speak for other people, but I know I get a lot from it.
Yeah, same here, Rodney. I was trying to copy and paste it, but the message was too long. Like I wanted to put everything in one paragraph, and for some reason it didn't let me. And I'm logged in, as you can see my face twice. I'm logged in my computer and my phone, and I was just gonna add that for sure it's useful. But I was gonna say to the other lady that was talking about the attacks, I'm like, it's happened for me and other people that are doing credit repair or credit enhancement using the Metro2, right? That they get a stall letter, and then a week later the accounts fall off. So don't get thrown off with
Absolutely.
that stall letter. And then for the the lady with the bankruptcy situation, just to kind of reiterate, I'm not sure if she caught on, but it's like you want to catch them with their hand in the cookie jar, right? Where you're saying you verified it, but then the bankruptcy court is saying we don't communicate, we don't verify, so on and so forth. So it's like, who's lying, right?
Yeah.
Because she's still here, by the way.
Well, they're actually
Christopher,
nobody's lying because they don't communicate directly with the court. They communicate with Pacer. The court talks. Think about the Pacer being a wall, right? The court's on the right side of the wall, talking to the wall, talking to Pacer, and you're on the left side of the wall, talking to the wall, Pacer also. So you're talking to the wall. The wall is being talked to by the courts, but you're not actually talking to the court. The court's not actually talking to you. But that is as close to a communication you're going to get. There is no direct communication from any repository to any court. There's that indirect, but that indirect is considered by other courts to be factual information. So if they wrote down there that all skies are blue, then that's going to be the fact. If they say all skies are yellow, then that's going to be the fact. Whatever the patient says, regardless if it's true or not, the courts are always going to consider that to be factual information, even if it's not factual information.
Someone posted a question, who did they reach out to if they've got a question? Kind of Raphael said, unfortunately, I don't sleep much. I don't have much of a life. I'm always available. I know on my drive today, I probably took 3 different calls to answer questions. And I know I took a couple earlier today. You can reach out to me through Messenger. You can reach out to me if you use me for printing and mailing. You've got my text number. You can call my toll-free number. I'm always available to answer the phone unless it's 2:00 in the morning and I'm probably asleep.
Then you got to call Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney doesn't sleep, so yeah. But or you can post your question in the in My Free Score Now's Gala chat. I know that myself and Rodney are in there quite a bit. And I know that there's other users that
if you're trying to get a question answered by me, you really need to tag me. Otherwise, I won't know it's for me. So I might see a question, but if it ain't for me, I don't usually typically answer it unless it's like a really missed answer. Like I'll let somebody else try to answer it. But if I see somebody giving some really, really bad information, I will jump in there and try to straighten it out without being, too overbearing to the person that made the mistake. So a lot of times somebody will have good intentions, but they're giving out really bad information. And when I see that happen, I try not to get in there and embarrass them. I actually try to message them behind the scenes and say, hey, this might be a better way to say what you're trying to say. So here's the actual information. And sometimes they're like, hey, just screw off and go to hell, dude. And sometimes they're like, hey, thank you. I get both of it. But yeah, you can always reach out. At worst case scenario, we just don't answer.
All right. So yeah, we're definitely going to continue these Metro2 Monday session. So more to come. Obviously, stay tuned at our check your emails, check your text messages, check the Facebook group. You know, that's where we send all of our information. Again, we'll be seeing some in Miami at our first Latino event, October 25th at the Faena Forum. I don't know if you know about the Faena Forum. It's beautiful. Google it. It's going to be an amazing event. And then we have our gala in December. And then 2026 is just, I mean, 2025 has been amazing. I mean, we're not even done yet, but we're already thinking about 2026, guys. We've got so many new things, innovation, so many things that are coming. So just, you know, you're in the right place, and we'll continue to drop things for you. So with that being said, thank you again, guys. We'll see you again on Wealth Wednesdays, Back to Basic Fridays, and then we're going to drop some more information about the Metro Mondays, and then we're going to consider all the information that you guys said. Thank you for filling out the form. I saw a lot of ones, so I highly appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.